Ladies and gentlemen, this information God want to go to the news to know that about Canada, what is going to happen, what is coming to happen. And God want to go in the news world to everybody can receive that before happen. Because what I understand, God want to release the tsunami to Canada.
If you enjoyed this video, please take 2 seconds to leave a like and subscribe. The biggest wave ever recorded was documented in Lituya Bay in the southeast of Alaska when an earthquake triggered a series of events that resulted in a mega tsunami. History and science books consider it to be the largest tsunami of modern times. On July 9th, 1958 at 10:15 p.m., a magnitude 7.8 earthquake caused a rock slide of around 40 million cubic yards in the Gilbert Inlet. Rocks, glaciers, and other debris fell from an altitude of approximately 3,000 feet, and the consequences were brutal. The event resulted in the highest wave in recorded history. The mega tsunami itself measured 300 feet high, but the following breaking wave became much bigger. As the giant mountain of water traveled across the entire length of Lituya Bay, it reached a peak height of 1,720 feet near the Gilbert Inlet that destroyed everything around it. If you enjoyed
This information, ladies and gentlemen, God want to go to the news because this earthquake happening before to the Canada, but they believe God is not able to bring earthquake. I understand, and because what they do and what they costing basically today behind the future, you can say future of the God mission from Canada costing major terrible for my life basically. From Canada, one side from criminal hands by their police behind my case, by their RCMP behind my case. Other side criminal India, they send wherever I go. Other side from Iranian culture behind my case in Canada to not get paid from their government Canada. So everything coming on the news because God want to bring this information before happening, before angel attack Ottawa, which is I have evidence of the angel already traveling to Ottawa for 8.7 earthquake, gentlemen. So this earthquake already happening. God hold this earthquake inside the city. He did not let the capital city be destroyed, but God want to send into many part area to know that, and CBC News, all those people involved, they send in this information to the news. They can tell God, or you can call Jesus, warning for the earthquake in Canada, for the 5 cities be hit in the Canada, their capital city Ottawa, to Quebec, Montreal, all the building be destroyed, which is we're talking about 10,000 building, Montreal, and Ottawa completely their capital city. What is coming? What is coming? It is not what is coming. What is this man he is speaking? Because maybe some people have courage to go against this man when he's speaking, but I don't have courage to go against this man because he is the basically justice he bring into Canada. We are talking about at least, ladies and gentlemen, at least few 100,000 trillion this man will cost Canada government coming on the news to pay for the price of his mission, which is this man mission I raise in the world. And they costing by Iranian, by many culture behind the case, many interruption, many rock they put front of my road by India culture, especially in the BC Vancouver behind my step when I take in step by step. So many crime I have book to writing down about crime of Canada to bring in the news. But God want everybody can receive that, especially their city news. This earthquake, God released into their capital city to Quebec, Montreal. This earthquake, gentlemen, coming, according to information I have, this earthquake did not be released. I bring to you evidence because nothing going to happen before the space God released him. Let me bring evidence to you. God commanded to the angel to bring Canada government under investigation. And I understand this investigation will cause finally many people fall by this earthquake happening because of Canada Canadian Security Service and their RCMP want to carry on their agenda. I don't know they carry on or not carry on. Nobody give a damn they want to carry on or not carry on. We are myself, I don't care. But most important, God wants this information going to news, their head office news, to know that they are responsible before this earthquake coming to their capital city, Ottawa. Their capital city, Ottawa, did not be hit, did not be marked, but I bring this justice according to God, and their capital city, Ottawa, been marked for this, ladies and gentlemen. Because God gave warning few times, and they did not. They did not step down, or they did not pay me, which is crime they cost in Canada. Behind my future, behind this man, by Muslim terrorists. Canada Canadian security costs behind my future by Muslim terrorists, you can say, completely costing me at least few $100 billion, not million, few $100 billion. This Canadian security service, their building costing here, I bring it to you evidence, from Ontario to Toronto. They call this building here costing all this crime, which is this building, this is me in the space working before the God, bringing this. He promised he want to bring this and the parliament building. By TUSNAMI, which is called costing TNT. I bring it to you all evidence, ladies and gentlemen. This information must go to the news because Canada already beginning this emergency, but God did not attack. But attack is on the way to Canada. God want to go to the news to take this information very, very serious because we are talking about at least 75% in Canada, they losing all their bank, all their money to bring in justice to their government, Justin Tutor, for crime of the Muslim, you can call or terrorists, or you can call India, or you can many culture. They give job behind my future, which is causing major effect, which is God want to this information going to world news because angel of the God appearing to their capital city, Ottawa, to 7 city for this earthquake.
Pile up on the Highway 401, just west of London, Ontario, in the far southwest of the province. Take a look at this photo here, provided by the local fire department.
This happened not long ago, gentlemen. I can say 10 days ago, just. And basically, God's plan was December shutting down completely government of Canada under this
storm,
investigation.
Severely reducing visibility. Drivers are not able to stop in time because of the ice and the snow. Sections of the highway now, it's a huge highway, closed off in both directions as emergency crews try to assess the damage. There's no word yet coming in on how many people.
And because God want to this information going to the world news, to at least world news can receive that before they don't blame on God. They can say God did that. God being acts of God in the Canada. So this information, because many people last time Canada be hit in the Fort McMurray, they put in the YouTube, God is the terrorist. In the YouTube from Canada team, which is I understand Canadian Security Service team, look, or their RCMP, look who is the terrorist. When they see that Fort McMurray be ashes all over, they put the God as terrorist. But today, God give the message. Of course, God is the terrorist of God of terrorists, but not God of terrorists. Don't misunderstand. God of justice, above the terrorists. Terrorists, nobody. So what I'm speaking to you, ladies and gentlemen, because God gave warning to Canada, Canadian Security RCMP, they pay what they cost me about crime in Canada They did not pay. So God want to this information going in the world breaking news from European NATO to the dead United States Joe Biden, to his army, and to the United States CIA, DIA, to know that third war coming by God releasing this attack to bring in government of Canada under this investigation for actually I cannot say 1989, which is the ice storm happening, but I understand 2023 from January something coming to Canada to break down their system and happening basically like this, bang, from space happening. So their system, God want to break down on the bankruptcy because according to the space God said, gentlemen, I bring it to you what happening here. Listen to this.
1998 ice storm started. It was a freezing rain event that lasted for days.
And 1989 when happening in Canada, they went and they told this was the acts of God. Finally, I don't know when actually power Quebec be hit for their electricity, they said this was acts of God. So I understand this is the acts of God. 1989. This is the second time. So third one, acts of God happening in Canada. For their electricity become ice and all the cable. We are talking about at least 100,000 kilometers in Canada. All the cable fall one by one. So because God know He is the intelligent, is beyond the Canada game. To Canada go play game. They bring in some people to fix it and they carry on again. This is not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. I promise to you, Canada is coming to the end of the decision of the actually, I can say this man here, and he don't care about the church. I can promise to you, church in Canada, God is not caring. But I can tell you that because God command to shutting down government of Canada, doesn't matter what they have, what they don't have. God against the Canada one lawsuit. And this information must go to many people to know that Canada coming on the lawsuit of the gods, which is the God is the, you can call God, Jesus, but God is the justice above the Jesus coming, which is God, Jesus is one. But above the Jesus, justice command to freezing government of Canada. And this information must go to many people to know that, ladies and gentlemen, if your operation from European, NATO, Russia, China especially, not stand up and coming, taking a step to Canada and shutting down their government, Justin Trudeau, this is war going to happen. And I promise to you here, I bring it to you evidence. God will attack third war. God will attack third war, gentlemen. I can tell you only one word. Because God cannot wait to Canada carry on anymore. This game, the casting behind my future, as I told you, I must write in 1,000-page book about crime of Canada, what they did, and bring it in the news. So God is not going to wait to these people carry on anymore. God is going to bring Canada this building, this their house under this part here by angel of the God coming by basically tsunami. As I told you, as I show you here, by tsunami, which is causing major earthquakes. Because this earthquake will cost basically before money fall, as I send into you, ladies and gentlemen, God want this information going to the City TV News. They taking this information about government of Canada is under investigation for tsunami 8.7 to Ottawa, Quebec, Montreal, Ontario. 7 cities will shake. 7 cities will shake, but their capital city, Quebec, Montreal, completely be crushed down. All the building cracked down and fall. This is the God above this earthquake. All of you receive that. You can see that God is standing above this earthquake, because I understand God cannot lose me, my future. I give up, so this is not going to happen. And God know that because of Canada crime. Because of Canada crime, God let Canada walk away, and basically whatever they did behind my future and carry on. It is not going to happen, ladies and gentlemen. God want to bring the justice to Canada, and I prove to you the justice, how big government of Canada coming on the breaking world news on the national emergency evacuation. At least, as I told you, that at least for 700,000 trillion, because one city, completely all the building cost falling, we're talking about at least $100 trillion. We are not talking about one earthquake coming and shaking the ground and walk away. It is not going to happen, gentlemen. Building fall in Canada, bridge fall completely. So this is I sending to all of you to know that, gentlemen, government of Canada under this investigation, which is God give already warning here to their country by angel of the gods. Is not only God, angel of the God already appearing to the government, appearing to their country for this investigation to angel attack their country. And I bring it to you all this in the news on time. What is going to happen? So this is the situation in Canada, gentlemen, facing, because my case, my life is behind because of game of Canada. Many faces, gentlemen, Canada have from this building, Canadian Security Service, to the federal department behind my future, costing thousands game behind my future serious game, which is the crime game Canada cost behind my future, from internet, from my connection, from everything I built in Canada. They came between me and my connection. They causing damage. Finally, I shut down my page. They shut down my page and I walk away. So January 23rd, ladies and gentlemen, because God know that he cannot lose me. If he let Canada walk away, God can lose me, gentlemen. God know that. So basically, final information coming to all of you in City TV News. Your government, Canada, in the Ottawa, be destroyed, Mr.
Hundreds of thousands lost power. CTV's Jeremy Sharon joins us live tonight with a look back at the ice storm we will never forget. Jeremy.
Graham, the storm brought an unprecedented amount of freezing rain. By the end of it, the worst hit areas saw 100 millimeters. The ice covered power lines, was all over trees, and caused problems across the region. And for some, the storm proved to be deadly.
You can see that, gentlemen, this is the information in Canada has been sent already, and I don't know how they take this information serious or not serious, but God is the serious coming to the Canada to bring their government under this lawsuit, under this investigation. And this information will be proved in the world news, according to the God. This information will be proved in the world news, how big government of Canada be crushed on under this investigation about my case in Canada, what they did.